Hello again, and welcome to segment 5 in our continuing nutrition education series. If you have joined us from the beginning, you should have already built a knowledge foundation in the basics of nutrition. If not, I encourage you to start from segment 1 using the link provided so you can follow the full journey from understanding macronutrients to applying them in everyday life. In this segment, we're exploring proteins, the building blocks of muscle, tissue repair, immune function, and so much more. Whether you are recovering from illness, managing chronic conditions, or simply aiming to feel stronger and more energized, protein plays a vital role in your health. We will explore what proteins are and why your body depends on them, the difference between complete and incomplete proteins, how to meet your protein needs through both animal and plant-based sources, tips for choosing lean and heart-healthy options, and how protein fits in your overall meal plan. Let's get started, and remember, nutrition isn't just about what's on your plate. It's about empowering your choices, honoring your body, and building a legacy of health. Proteins are no magic, just metabolic mastery. Proteins are powerful macronutrients, but they don't perform instant miracles. Before they become part of your muscles or support vital functions, they undergo a complex biological journey. As with other macronutrients, the processes involved in body protein synthesis include digestion, absorption, transport, assimilation, and excretion, each step essential to transforming food proteins into functional components your body can use. In the body, proteins are more than just muscle builders. They are the architects of every cell, often referred to as cellular machines. They take on critical roles as enzymes, antibodies, transporters, cellular pumps, and oxygen carriers. They build, repair, regulate, and protect, working behind the scenes to keep your body functioning at its best. Food proteins don't enter your system ready to build. They must be dismantled first, sorted, and reassembled through this precise metabolic process. Curious how that transformation happens? Let's break it down. We have already explored carbohydrates. Now it's time to shift our focus to proteins, with fats coming up next. Understanding the chemical structure of proteins is key to recognizing how they differ from other macronutrients in both function and impact on health. Proteins are complex compounds made of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen, a unique element that sets them apart from carbohydrates and fats. These elements are carefully arranged into chains of amino acids, which serve as the fundamental building blocks of protein. Think of amino acids as linked into a chain, each one contributing to the shape, function, and role of the final protein structure. It's the presence of nitrogen that gives protein their distinct chemical identity and allows them to perform specialized roles in the body, from tissue repair to enzyme production. By understanding this structure, you will begin to see why proteins are essential not just for muscle growth, but for the formation and maintenance of every cell in the body. Proteins are builders, but they are just not about building muscles. It's the foundation of every cell in your body. Proteins are called cellular machines because protein take on critical roles as enzymes, antibodies, transporters, cellular pumps, and oxygen carriers. They are the structural and functional workforce behind everything from healing wounds to regulating metabolism. But unlike carbohydrates, which are quickly converted into blood sugar for energy, dietary proteins don't become body proteins instantly. There is no magic, just a remarkable transformation. Think of it like constructing a building. You need raw materials, skilled workers, and a step-by-step process. When we eat protein-rich foods, our digestive enzymes, activated by stomach acid, begin breaking down complex peptide chains into their simplest forms, amino acids. These amino acids are then absorbed, transported, and reassembled into the specific proteins your body needs, whether for muscle repair, immune defense, or hormone production. It's a journey of digestion, absorption, transport, assimilation, and finally excretion. Each step vital to turning food into function. Let's talk about protein synthesis, the body's construction plan. So, how does the protein we eat become part of our body's structure and function? It all starts with digestion, where food proteins are broken down into their basic building blocks called amino acids. These amino acids are then absorbed and transported to the body's construction sites called the cells. Inside each cell, a remarkable process begins. A message coded in your DNA is delivered, providing the exact blueprint for the type of protein that needs to be built. This blueprint guides the assembly of amino acids into specific sequences, forming proteins that serve countless roles, from repairing tissues to producing enzymes, hormones, and immune defenders. Unlike carbohydrates, which are quickly converted into blood glucose or sugar, proteins require precision and planning. They don't become body proteins instantly. They are carefully dismantled, then sorted out and rebuilt through a multi-step process involving digestion, absorption, transport, assimilation, and excretion. Let's take a closer look at how your body turns dietary protein into functional, life-sustaining cellular machinery. Let's examine the second stage of protein synthesis, its construction in action. Once amino acids reach their cellular construction sites, they are reassembled into precise sequences to form specific tissue proteins. These proteins don't just build muscles, they are essential for creating new tissues, such as those in a developing embryo or growing child. They also play a critical role in repairing damaged tissues, whether from hemorrhage, burns, surgery, or the natural turnover of worn out cells. But their work doesn't just stop there. Proteins are also needed to produce neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that allow nerve cells to communicate. These messengers control everything from thinking and memory to reflexes like eye blinking and muscle movement. In short, proteins are skilled laborers of the body, constructing, repairing, and coordinating countless functions that keep us alive and thriving. Protein's primary role is to support growth, maintenance, and repair of body tissues, from muscle fibers to skin cells and everything in between. But its functions go far beyond structures. Proteins act as enzymes that catalyze chemical reactions. They also act as hormones that regulate body processes and act as antibodies that defend against illness. They also help maintain fluid balance by working with electrolytes to regulate hydration and cellular stability. Proteins are essential for producing neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that allow your brain and nerves to communicate, controlling everything from thought and memory to reflexes and movement. While carbohydrates are the body's preferred energy source, proteins can also step in when carbohydrate intake is too low. However, this is not their ideal role because protein are complex molecules that break down more slowly. They can provide longer lasting energy, but using them for fuel means sacrificing their critical structural and regulatory functions. That's why it's important to consume enough carbohydrates and fats so your body can preserve protein for what it does best: building, repairing, and regulating. So let's examine about protein residues. It's the liver's cleanup crew. Proteins come in countless shapes, each designed for a specific task. Some form hollow spheres that store and transport materials, like those involved in tendon formation. Others, like hemoglobin, are large globular proteins that fill red blood cells, carry oxygen, and most importantly, hold iron, a vital element for energy and cellular function. Because proteins serve as critical roles, it's essential that they are used for their primary functions, not diverted for energy unless it's absolutely necessary. Once proteins are broken down and their amino acids are used for building and repair, residual components must be processed. One key example is nitrogen, a byproduct of amino acid metabolism. The liver converts nitrogen from toxic ammonia into urea, which is then sent to the kidneys and excreted in urine. A small amount of protein residue also exits the body through slough of skin, hair, and nails. However, when carbohydrate intake is too low and blood sugar drops, the body may begin breaking down protein to create glucose for energy, a process called gluconeogenesis. This shift diverts protein from its structural and regulatory roles, disrupting the normal pattern of protein use and potentially compromising tissue repair and immune function. That's why balanced nutrition matters, so proteins can stay focused on what they do best: building, healing, and regulating. Proteins come in unique shapes and for that matter, have the ability to perform various tasks in the body. For example, those that are formed as hollow balls carry and store materials within itself, such as in creating tendons. Another example is a molecule of hemoglobin. It's a large protein globule that packs red blood cells and carry oxygen. And most importantly, holds iron. So it's really so important that body proteins are used for their main functions. Remember how important it is to protect protein's purpose. One of the most important principles in nutrition is sparing action of carbohydrates. When carbohydrate intake is adequate, it allows protein to focus on its primary roles, building, repairing, and regulating, rather than being diverted for energy use. But when carbohydrates are too low, the body may begin converting protein into glucose for fuel. And where does the protein come from? Your muscles. That includes not just your skeletal muscles, but the muscles that make up your vital organs, your heart, liver, kidneys, and more. Imagine the consequences. If protein is constantly used for energy, the body begins to break down its own tissues to survive. Over time, this can compromise strength, immunity, and organ function. That's why balanced nutrition matters. Carbohydrates protect protein, so it can do the work it was meant to do, supporting growth, healing, and cellular function. Not all proteins are created equal. To meet the body's needs for growth, repair, and regulation, we must consider both the quality and source of the protein we consume. Let's talk about the two classifications of proteins. Complete proteins are those proteins containing all the 9 essential amino acids in the right proportions, making them ideal for supporting the body's full range of functions. Found in animal-based foods such as meat, eggs, milk, and cheese, complete proteins are easily absorbed and highly effective in tissue building and repair. The second class is incomplete proteins. These proteins lack one or more essential amino acids or have in insufficient amounts. They are found in plant-based sources like beans, lentils, seeds, and grains. They can still meet the body's needs when strategically combined. For example, pairing rice with beans or hummus with whole grains bread creates a complete amino acid profile, especially important for individuals following vegetarian or vegan diets. Understanding the difference between complete and incomplete proteins helps you make informed choices, whether you're building muscles, recovering from illness, or simply aiming for balanced nutrition. The most important thing to remember about protein is its primary role to support growth, maintenance, and repair of body tissues. Protein isn't just for muscles. It's the core material used to build every part of the body, from bones and blood to organs and skin. It's the blueprint and the bricks. Carbohydrates play a protective role of sparing protein by allowing it to focus on its essential functions rather than being used as an energy source. When carbohydrate intake is adequate, protein can do what it was designed to do, build, heal, and regulate. Protein needs vary by age and life stage. For children and adolescents require more protein to support rapid growth and development. But for most healthy adults, consuming more protein than the body requires does not lead to extra muscle gain or added benefit. The body simply won't build beyond its needs. So what's the bottom line? Balanced nutrition is the key. Providing the right mix of carbohydrates, proteins, and fats ensures that each nutrient can fulfill its unique role, supporting health, vitality, and resilience at every stage of life. Thank you for joining us in this segment on proteins. We hope this video helped deepen your understanding of how proteins support growth, repair, and overall health. Please share this video to someone you know or care so that they can be well informed about nutrition. Thank you.